What's up, you guys? Today we're going to make pretzels using butternut squash and spelt flour. All right, so right here I'm using a Dollar Tree knife, so it's hard for me to cut. So no judgment, please. I ended up even having to do that little rockaway cut. You'll see what I'm talking about. So if you have one of those shavers that you could just shave the outside, just do that and save yourself some time. I didn't cut myself, thankfully, but it was a little difficult to cut, as you can see. So here we're just gonna boil it. I always squeeze either a half or a whole key lime. Doesn't alter the flavor a little bit, but it does like just cook it into the butternut squash. I made as much as possible just because I didn't know how much I would need. And right here, I'm just checking to see if they're fully cooked. You can tell that some of them aren't going all the way through easily. So I'm just going to let them boil for a little bit longer. So I transferred it straight from the pot into the blender. And I'm going to use the water that I boiled it in just because it already has that key lime taste in it. So I'm just going to blend it here. And this is going to be our wet mixture that we put into our spelt flour. You can use whatever flour you want to, any approved flour. And I'm just going to kind of put it in little by little like I would do if I was using water. And we're going to keep doing it until we get a nice dough consistency. So as you can see, the dough is sticking to my hand. So that means that I need to add more flour, which I will. And we're just going to make sure that our flour is nice and ready. And then once we do add our extra flour, as I'm doing here, you can add half a cup at a time, just so that you have a nice solid dough like this. And then as you can see, it's not, sticky, it's just perfect. So then we're going to just knead and try out some pretzels. Y'all, I was straight up struggling when I first tried out, because this is my first time ever trying this because somebody's had ate it. So I'm like, okay, let me try to make it the alkaline version. There's got to be a way. And also, if you're watching this and you wanted to look at that pretzel, y'all, it was a total disaster, but I wanted to show y'all that I made up for that progress, and I just kept going until I finally made a cuter pretzel. But like I was gonna say, you guys can go on Amazon. I did not know that they sold butternut squash flour. So if you're somebody who has allergies to Spelt or just very sensitive or very like food sensitive, then you can just order the butternut squash flour and you can add water to it, or you can just simply do 100% butternut squash pretzel and do butternut squash flour and butternut squash puree. What you see on the table is flour. My brother is definitely not the best camera guy. I kept having to instruct him on like, hello, you're not getting the pretzel in frame, but you guys get the idea. Once I finally got that pattern down, y'all, I was flipping them things like I worked at Aunt Annie's, okay? Like they was in and out. And then since my sea salt that I did have was it wasn't fine, I just basically placed the pieces of sea salt in the pretzel before I fried it. So your girl was just reinventing and inventing as I was going along. So when we make these again next time, we're gonna be fully prepared. So this is the end. You're going to fry them in grapeseed oil or any approved oil. And that's it. For more recipes, you guys can follow me on Instagram at African Alkaline Appetite. And I'll go ahead and put all that information down in the description box. I also have cookbooks available for sale.